Good evening and welcome back on Race Stars TV, round number 2 for the FIA F4E Series for Motorsport Australia. We're heading to Spielberg. My name's Chris Mitchell, joined by Dave Roberts tonight in commentary. We're getting set for a big night full of, what's that word again, Dave? Track limits.
Believe so. We're at Red Bull. It's all about track limits, Chris. Always is.
We're very excited for this. It's been a pretty red-hot start to the season so far, even after having only just the one round completed, as we get a shot from the qualifying currently ongoing. Here's a recap of your championship standings with just one round completed, of course. Damon Woods taking the win from Laguna Seca. I think it feels like a lifetime ago where he claimed the win there from Ewan Baker on 79 points. Ben Roberts on 76 points. Tom Katsadonis and Caleb Hydes rounding out your top 5 on 50 points apiece. It looks a bit scarce on the points right now, Dave, but that is because we are only one round into this series, with all of that due to shake up tonight from Spielberg.
Yeah, we've been playing around with Formula Fords and S5000s for a week on end, but we're back to the ones that sound like a cat that's eating dog food. And
favorite kind of car.
They really do sound terrible, but gee, they give some great racing and they're a good little car. But they really, orally, they're not exactly the most exciting vehicle, but visually they're fantastic. The racing's been superb at round one. These guys in this car tends to produce really, really excellent racing. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. I think we're going to see a bit of action, a bit of chaos, and interesting newcomer to the series, Kalen Chin, sitting on pole. So how good's that?
It's
what a debut.
Brilliant to see someone stepping up to the plate here. Kalen Chin, he's jumped up. He's got a fair old advantage as well. It's moved out. What's the time advantage here? It's 8/100ths of a second he has over Damon Woods, or 81 thousandths of a second if you want to keep breaking it down a little bit.
He's got a huge margin, 81 thousandths of a second.
Margin back to Benny Roberts in third. He's 3/10 behind in third there from Katsadonis and Julian Dunn, the Altus Esports entry, currently P5. You can see they've all turned grey on the left-hand timing tower. The only person I think still left on track is Caleb Dawson, Stephen Bull, and Jack Mara. Still showing as on the racetrack, as we see Jack Mara here, the Scuderia DSR Snackachangi entry, as they only get a limited amount of time to lock in their qualifying laps before they're going to be set to go.
They get a 15-minute session and they get 5 qualifying laps. So they can do them early, do them late. And these guys, a couple of guys you're seeing here, have done them late in the session and looking for a bit of track evolution and looking to run when everyone else is off the road. So I think we've still got 2 out there, Ewan Baker and Phil Worley, still lapping on. Oh, no, that must have finished because we've got a grid on the screen.
We're straight to the starting grid here. Kalen Chin in the Wave Italy entry on the pole alongside Damon Woods on the front row of the grid. Benny Roberts and Tom Katsadonis on row 2. Julian Dunn and Philip Worley starting on row 3 with Ewan Baker and Jack Mara on row 4. Thomas Hinz and Caleb Hydes rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and looking down through the field there, we've got Bailey Evans back in 12th. Bailey's been very quick in the other series. Rob Bowden in 13. Rob's a real strategist. I call him the Alain Prost of our E-Series, so he's a good thinker. Will Ryan there in 18. Another regular, very, very quick. I'm looking down through Harry Loris, Riley McKibben. He's a new starter, I think, 29th. And Greg Bradley there, very out of position back in 28th place. That's very unlike Greg, so he's a lot quicker than that. And here we go. Better get set.
Few drivers not attend tonight's racing, so it's where you see a few more names coming into the series that might not have been at the first round as we change through the locked grid for this championship, with Kalen Chin sitting on the pole here, waiting for the all okay to send us lights out and racing from Spielberg. It's a very fast track with a lot of emphasis on corner speed, especially in these low aero, low power open wheel cars. As the revs come up on the starting grid from Spielberg, Austria, the Red Bull Ring for round 2 of the Motorsport Australia FIA F4 Esports Cup.
And still waiting to go.
This is great.
Suspense.
Sit here for a moment longer. We don't get much of an opportunity to see who's going to be, or how far away from getting a start we
They're
are.
off.
There we go,
We're
Green.
off. And Calen's made an excellent start off pole.
He has. Woods is trying to challenge, but has to tuck in behind him as he's getting menaced by a trio of Simrig's cars. The men in red, there's two of them separated by Julian Dunn as we go a little bit further back through the field here. Everyone seems to have managed to get through turn one clean, which is remarkable for Red Bull Ring in an open wheel car. As Calen's going to lead the field up to turn 3 at the top of the hill, hard on the anchors and turn in, and it's a funny apex because it kicks the cars up the way the earth changes and the undulation on the racetrack, and such a low ride height car, it can really catch the car if you don't quite get the apex 100% right.
The whole thing about tonight will be staying in that toe, Chris, because you drop out of that toe, you'll drop away, and already the three front guys have sort of made that break, and P4, which is Katsudonis, has dropped out of that toe. Tom will be trying everything he can to get him back in range of that toe from Benny Roberts there. So I don't know what happened there between third and fourth, but there's a bit of gap opened up, and that's really hard to close in these guys, in these cars.
Side by side with Julian Dunn and Ewan Baker, already getting the swords out and having a bit of a discussion over who wants to be the last in the top 5 as now Jack Mara has a look down the inside. The DSR Snackachangi entry gets it done, and Baker runs it way off the track in the final couple of turns. It's with four-wheel
track limits.
Track limits. It certainly is. No, you'd never think we'd mention that on a night like this. It is a four-wheel off-track detention, but you can see that clearly Baker was well and truly off the racetrack as he's buried under the gearbox of Mara right now. He gets a little touch from the Simrig's car, and he has to go exit stage left over the sausage curve on the exit of turn 1. He's been lucky to keep the car on the track here. Look at this though, Worley keeping it tucked up the inside, up the hill towards turn number 3. We're going to go 3 wide under brakes into turn 3.
And who's that down the inside? Because that's a beautiful move by 92, whoever that is. And I've got a feeling it's Caleb Hydes. And that's a great move down the inside into the hairpin. Didn't threaten anybody, didn't put a wheel on anybody, just snuck down the inside while they're all looking at each other, wondering who's going to break the latest. Caleb showed them who it was.
Yeah, he's done a great job there to get up the inside.
Loosen the
little bit of a swap on the exit of turn number 4, but he manages to keep the position. Now he's the sitting duck though. Oh, we've got a big pile on the exit of turn 4. Someone's lost their rear wing. I'm sure someone lost the front wing in that one as well. There's a couple of cars caught up there. I saw that.
There's 07 there sitting on the road, so I figure that's the wing off the one that's missing. So whoever 07 is, Greg Bradley. Oh dear. And that's got very nice wheel alignment on that one we're looking at.
It's a Steve Pashkani. Looks good to me right there for McKibben as Caitlin Chin leads away now with a bit of debris left on the racetrack. I don't expect that they would bring out the safety car just for that. As we can see,
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. They'll, I think they'll be fine. Julian Dunn dropped off this pack a little bit, and he's back there in, what's he in 4th place? He's dropped off that 3rd place. Oh, another one round in turn 1, and he's lost the rear wing as well.
Rear wing.
So that's Brody Shepherd. Brody Shepherd's there. Oh, and there's another one, because the thing is, it is about holding your mid-corner speed in that turn 1. You've got to get the mid-corner speed, because there's a big long run down to the hairpin here, and everybody tries so hard, and it's such an easy car to lose their air on, as we're seeing there.
Yeah, it's look pretty very tough at the moment on this track. I was just noting that Baker and Mara had fallen down through the field. We were just looking at them a moment ago, fighting for the top 5 positions as Jack Mara looks up the inside, trying to find his way through. He's down in 13th at the moment, looking for a move on Harry Lawrence here for P12. So something happened there as Julian Dunn fell off the back of that battle as well. And Tom Katsudonis showing us that he's already worked up a couple of off-track incident points. He copped a slowdown on the main straightaway and he spotted Julian Dunn here. So let's see what happened.
Oh, look at this. Look at this, Chris. 4, 5, 6 abreast. How many do we want? And there's Ewan Baker on the outside, and he's got a little bit of a touch there, but somebody's around in the background there. But Ewan Baker and Jack Mara, 2 New Zealanders, so they're not doing their cause very well. They should be working together, Chris.
Yeah, it should be for sure, as Damon Woods is working with Benny Roberts and Kalen Chin right now. Your trio leading this race have broken away from the rest of the field. They've got themselves a healthy margin. It's out by, what is it, 2 seconds, 2.8 seconds over the next cars. As now Woods goes for the big move up the inside into turn number 3. Last of the late breakers and pulls that one off up the hill.
So Damon has really been the class of the series, all 3 series. He leads S5000, he leads the Formula Ford, and he's leading F4 after round 1. So, he really has been the Max Verstappen of all 3 series so far. And it is awesome now to see Kalen taking it to him and giving him a real run for his money. And I hate to say it, but I'm actually got my money on Kalen. I'd love to see him take a win away because, I hate dominations. But Damon has been dominating because he's so darn good, and he really is a superb driver, real world driver as well. But come on, Kalen, you can do this.
Kalen Chin now tucking into the slipstream. On the way down towards the final couple of corners, it's a quick flick down through the gears, tap of the brakes, float across the corner and watch the exit. And then through the final corner, watching the exit again to try and not run 4 wheels off the top of those rumble strips. I think it's 4 wheels off the top of the even the white on the green rumble strip is what counts as an off-track detection here within iRacing. Of course, if we were playing within the world of Formula 1, they'd all have 5 and 10 second penalties all the way up and down the field right now as Damon Woods doesn't get the exit that he needs off of turn 1. And look at this, Kalen buried into his rear gearbox.
He doesn't have to do anything. It's a sprint race. He's just got to sit there till the end. You only have to lead over the finish line. Here's Benny Roberts down the inside. So
yeah,
he's in there as well.
He definitely didn't get the message that you only have to lead across the finish line. Of course, we hadn't talked about it yet, Dave. This is the sprint race, 15 minutes in duration, that sets the starting grid heading into the feature race of 45 minutes to round out the night. These top 3 are giving us a bit of a fight to feast on here.
They really have run away with it too. I'm looking back, it's 3.2 seconds back to Julian Dunn. And Julian is trying his absolute everything to get onto the back of these guys, but the gap's too big. They lost the time when they were battling with each other back there for 4th place. The gap opened and they're gone. And they've got to watch this in the feature as well, because you've got to stay in touch with that toe. You've got to be in that little hole in the air behind that leading bunch. If you drop out of that, you can't get back there.
And you can't do anything about it, as you said, about that toe. It's just too much to try and make up if you don't have somebody around you helping you out. They say it's easy to stay in the toe if you're good enough to just let the toe pull you along. But as soon as you make one mistake or you get caught up with another car and you let them get away, they break that. I would assume it's about 0.6 of a second. That seems to be the magic number with these open wheel cars. You lose that 0.6 of a second margin that you're staying within, and you're gone. As you can see here, the top 3, Woods, Chin and Roberts up the hill towards turn number 3. And the huge margin, it's 3 seconds now back to Julian Dunn holding P4. He can't do anything about it. Even though he's throwing down some of his best lap times, like last lap was a 1:31.8. He's losing tons of time. Benny Roberts in the toe has done a 1:31.1, but he still sits back in 3rd because he can't do anything about the outright pace. Once you're falling over each other and driving up onto the back of the car in front of you, you end up stuck there as well. So there's 2 ends of the equation when we talk about the toe. And this is the kind of racing we expected when we knew we were coming to the Red Bull Ring.
Also, Tom Katsadonis back there in 5th. Tom was quickest in practice. He may not have got the qualifying time he was looking for, but he was the quickest guy on the road in practice. So, and he's back in 5th. He is not going to be happy with that. And to be honest, I was expecting a bit more from Tom. I expected him to be right in the middle of this group at the front. So, and he's Ben Roberts' teammate. So if he could get up there, the 2 of them could work together. I just want to see that in the main feature. Come on, this is really a race to get your position for the starting grid in the feature race, because that's where all the points are, that's where the results are. So come on, Tom, you can do it. Get there in 5th, get a good start. You've still got it in you tonight.
Well, it's very much an equation of risk versus reward as we watch this battle here with Caleb Dawson. He's putting a bit of pressure on the back of Aiden Coote to try and move up to P15 in this sprint race. You can risk a lot, and if it pays off, it pays off. You get yourself a good starting position. But if it doesn't pay off here in the sprint race, you end up so far back as we get one off at turn 1. Will Ryan getting
Will Ryan. He got caught out. The guy in front of him braked a bit early. He locked a brake, and then once he locked a brake, he couldn't turn in, and the car went straight on, and he dropped like 3 places in a breath. And look, he's not even in the group now. He's back off the back. He's way back. So that just shows you what one little mistake, how much of a difference it can make, Chris.
Yeah, this track is all about momentum with these F4 cars. They haven't got a whole bunch of horsepower, and so as soon as you end up running wide or have to lift off the throttle unnecessarily, you're going to pay the price. He's going to be hedging his bets now and hoping that the guys in front of him start fighting again, and that will allow him to drive back into that battle as we follow along with Harry Lawrence right now. The Delta Sport entry is involved in a pretty heavy discussion. Scott Zizlowski as they come out on the twin left-handers and make their way to the final couple of corners of the circuit. Look at the exit that he's got and the toe now. He's using that aerodynamic draft to his advantage.
Nowhere to go.
Peak to the inside, but he decides not to go with it, and instead Zizlowski's going to run it just a little bit risky on the off track, and again on the exit of the final corner.
He's got a good run.
Good run. But as soon as he pulls out of that toe, look at all the advantage he loses. He's not closing anymore. He's just going to get wrong side and has to
got track position
on the brakes against the inside line.
Yeah, he's got track position. He's up the inside and he's going to hold the guy out. He doesn't actually want to pass him. He wants to hold him one wide on turn in so the guy on the outside loses momentum and then he gets a bit of a break. But I've also just heard race control call blanket toe approval, so there'll be no safety cars from here on in. So a safety car free race in Formula 4. Who has ever heard of that, Chris?
Not when we're watching some of the regionals and junior series that compete with these cars. As we go back to the battle at the front, it's still red hot between these three: Woods, Chin and Roberts. They're over 3.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field right now in a battle of their own, and Damon Woods punching a hole in the air for the two behind him. And remember what we said about risk versus reward? Well, that's the equation right now for Caitlin Chin and Benny Roberts. They don't want to take too much of a dive and risk going to the back of the pack on the starting grid for the feature. So I'd expect them to stay rather processional right now. I know that's a horrible word to use when we talk about racing because everyone starts falling asleep. But keeping in mind, this is just the sprint race and the feature race coming up very soon. 45 minutes, I'm sure the dynamic is going to change very quickly.
Now, Roberts is looking up the inside. He just dropped out of that airstream to try and get a little bit of sight of what's going on up ahead. So these guys, they're like they're tied together. They have not moved. But the last lap is the only lap that makes any difference. Because, as I said before, you only need to leave. And here we go. Caelan's down the inside into the hairpin. I think he's they're putting a move on it. And Roberts could be the big winner here because he's got the momentum out of that corner, but he's got nowhere to go because they're two abreast.
You can go around the outside at turn 4 if you have the testicular fortitude to get it done, as Caitlin Chin tries to defend on the outside here, as Woods well and truly has the inside line covered at 4. And that was a bit of a masterful move there from Damon Woods, holding that inside line. He tempted Caitlin to try and go for the outside move, but it's not to be here with a minute 45 left on the clock.
Damon's racecraft is superb. It is really top shelf. You know, he knows where to put the car on the road. He knows how to hold people out without blocking or whatever. He's just putting the car right in the right place on the road. And Caitlin Chin tried everything there, but he's just not found a way by.
We get a bit of a shot as some of our in-race webcams broadcasting to Race Stars TV at the moment. Who we're looking at here? I know one of them is Scott Bartain, and a couple of the other boys joining in the chat rooms as well. As we see Bartain on the main screen as well. So he's rocking the bottom of the 3 panels you saw on the right-hand side. But we'll go back to the battle for the front. I'm sure we'll get time to go back to webcams during the feature race. It's all on here. 1 minute left on the clock. And Chin has another attempt. He's this time
right on the outside.
Now this is going to be risky here. As
look
at Benny Roberts looking for somewhere to go.
Benny Roberts down the middle. They're 3 abreast. If they bring themselves undone, they'll be starting off the back of the grid for the feature. They do not want to be there, so be smart, boys. But Damon has managed to hold on to that again. As I say, his racecraft is excellent, and that's got to come from the real-world racing that he does. It has to. Yeah, that's the little bit that's making a difference, giving him a bit of an edge there at the moment. Is just knowing how to position the car on the road. And you can see him here. He's running it a bit wide so nobody can get up the inside into that. It's a bit of a block maneuver, and there's Roberts, and he's down there. Roberts has lost it, and that's exactly what I was talking about. He's going to be off the back of the grid, or way back on the grid. So he's back to 5th now. Can he keep it going? He's 5th place, but he's thrown it away. Now he's a 5th in the feature. Instead of, if he'd sat there, just bide his time, he would have been 3rd. At worst, he would have been 3rd off the grid. Now he's back to 5th. That's a whole row further back. 2 rows further back.
Painful for Benny Roberts there as we get the replay of that action on the right-hand side of the screen as the checkered flag flies. But David Woods gets the job done here in the sprint race. Caleb and Chin, another great drive for 2nd. Julian Dunn picks up the pieces for 3rd. Tom Katsadonis home in P4, and Benjamin Roberts consolidates after that last lap dive to come home P5.
Very lucky.
In the sprint race. He did get very lucky and had the advantage of the huge margin they had over the rest of the field to at least score himself a 3rd row starting position for the feature.
Yeah, the interesting thing was there, he did actually touch Kalen Chin, but Kayla hung onto the car. The car got a bit loose in the rear, and he's managed to hang onto it, which was fantastic. So, because Ben would never have dreamt of causing anybody else to lose out of that. He was just trying to take advantage of an opportunity that arose. But I think it was a bit of red mist, and I think he probably should have, just held station and lose the what do they say? Lose the battle to win the war.
That's it. He's lost the battle, and well and truly, we'll see if he can come out on top in the war that will be the feature race coming up. Notable mention for Caleb Hydes, up 4 spots from his starting position as we look at a replay here. Here it is from the outside of the corner. You can see Benny Roberts. It would have been the slightest of touches, but I think Benny just simply ran out of room on the inside of the left-hander. Wow. I think
he actually jammed the brakes on. I think he jammed the brakes on here to actually stop himself from hitting anyone, but he did certainly touch Kalen.
Yeah, got him with the right rear while turning around. Unfortunately for Benny Roberts. I was going to say, notable mention for Caleb Hydes, up 4 spots from his starting position out of P10. He finished P6 in that one, as we can check the results there. Caleb also takes out the best and the worst, because he had the most incident points of anyone in the field. 13 incident points from that race for Caleb Hydes. So he's going to have to be careful come this 45-minute race, or he'll find himself with a penalty and having to go through the pit lane.
And we've got Damon Woods in the green room.
We sure do. We'll drag him in here and have a chat. Damon Woods, congratulations. Taking the sprint race, you get P1 for the feature tonight.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed that one quite a lot. It was good fun racing with Galen and Ben before he spun in the last lap.
What's the strategy with these cars on this track when you're watching guys going for the inside line? Is it like a high-speed game of chess? Because it looks like you have to be very particular about where you position your car.
Yeah, you can't just send it and hope for the best. You got to be quite meticulous with it. So, yeah, there's a lot of games, but Kalen and I were in voice chat together, so we weren't going to do anything dumb and ruin our races.
That usually answers the next question: is are you working together or against each other? Did you get a bit of a look at the Benny Roberts incident on the final lap there?
I saw it in my mirror. That was about it.
That's a shame.
So, yeah, I'll have a look at that one during the warm-up.
Well, we're into the warm-up now. We'll give you a final question. What's the plan for the feature race here? We have to monitor and manage the car. Are you thinking about fuel? Are you thinking about tyres with this thing?
I think the goal is going to be trying to break the gap to the pack, but ultimately with these kind of cars where the draft is so strong, it's going to be quite difficult, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll try and do our best.
Well, best of luck, mate. Dave Roberts, do you have anything to add here?
No, not really. Just to say, Damon, sorry, mate, but I'm betting against you tonight because we need to see another winner. You're dominating. And we've got to break that.
Don't say that. We don't want that. I don't want that, sorry.
That's right, mate. Best of luck for the feature race. We'll let you
fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We'll let Damon get on out of here as we can take a breath now, Dave, and watch these cars throughout the warm-up.
Those 3 cars had about 6 inches between them for the whole 15 minutes. Do you think they can do that for 45, Chris?
No. No, I don't. I've had the pleasure of racing with the likes of Kalen occasionally. Back in the days where I used to have time on my side, and I could get in and do some officials. A fantastic racer, knows exactly where to position the car, and is uber quick, which is why he's in a series like this and having a crack, and he's already proving that he's rising to the top after he missed the first round of the championship from Laguna Seca. But to race like that, so close together, after 45 minutes, something's got to give. Something has to give. And we saw that in the 15-minute race, Benny Roberts getting caught up and going for a spin. But I think they're either going to spread themselves out a bit more, maybe afford themselves a little bit more space on the racetrack, or they'll risk coming to blows.
Interesting. We will soon find out. I also noticed that Damon drives for Door Esports, which is a German esports team, and I noticed that Kalen is driving for Wave Italy. So we've got a bit of a European challenge here. It's like a World Cup. Germany versus Italy in the final.
Well, it's no surprise, and it's no secret that this style of racing in these cars, especially at the highest level of sim racing, does start to open some doors in the real world if you've got the backing and the finances to go and pursue a career. I mean, look at some of the names, even the likes of Cooper Webster now racing in GB3, GB4 in these kinds of cars throughout the UK. He came from sim racing. So having those kinds of European connections is a great way to try and progress your career and maybe roll the dice and take a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it is a different world these days, and this really has become the grassroots of motorsport now, is esports. So, getting in here, having a go, proving that you've got some pace, and then trying to get an opportunity to get your butt in a real race car, that's sort of a progression string these days,
It absolutely is, and it's a no-brainer that so many people are trying their hardest to get involved in. There's so much popularity for series like this, as well as we're running down the final few seconds in this warm-up. We've got a short grid time heading into the feature race. Quick bets going down, Dave Roberts. Who's your money on for the feature?
Well, I'm going to go for Kalen, just because I'm not going to back Damon, because it's too much of a safe bet.
It's too much of a safe bet. I'll go the outside bet here for Benny Roberts.
Good on you.
From fifth on the grid. Benny Roberts, a long-time supporter of FRG and been racing with us for quite some time. A little uncharacteristic mistake in the sprint. We'll see what he can do here as we take another look at your starting grid for the feature. 45 minutes from Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. Damon Woods starting on the pole alongside Kalen Chen on the front row. Julian Dunn up to P3. Tom Katsadonis to P4. Benny Roberts from P5. Caleb Hydes out of P6. Philip Worley from 7, Thomas Hinz from 8, Rob Bowden starting out of position number 9, and Reese Margetts starting out of P10.
I've got to say, Rob Bowden, I mentioned there, that's a great finish for Rob in top 9 from where he was on the grid. Good effort.
And we've got some other names through the field here. Notable mention to Ewan Baker falling down through the order after he was on the podium from round 1. He's 14th on the grid here. Watch for him to try and come through the field here. As we get another look as well, the likes of Aiden Coote falling down the order in the sprint race as well. They have their work cut out for them, with Lockie Capel there showing up at the back in the safety car. Hopefully we don't have to see any of him on the racetrack tonight.
We haven't so far, and I can't believe that in F4. Here we go, we're off.
Green and underway here for the feature race. A brilliant start here for Damon Woods. Kalen Chen having to settle back in for second on the run up to the hill towards turn 1. Julian Dunn slowing in the third gear as the whole field goes flying through the very quick turn 1. You can see how much they're slowing up throughout the rest of the field, but everyone gets through clean. That's amazing. 2 for 2 for a clean turn 1.
They've sort of got the handle on these cars. I think they're a pretty safe thing to drive. They're not an unwieldy beast, so they're able to sort of hold their line a little bit and get a safe start. So it's great to see.
Yeah, they're not like the S1000s of S5000s, again, right, the third time, that we saw last week.
Yeah.
As the field goes running out towards turn number 4. See some already big moves coming as people trying to move their way through the field here. Caleb Hydes on the inside from Phil Worley. Caleb trying to hang on the P6. As there's two
off. Greg Bradley off.
Again.
Greg's had a bad night tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Greg. He's going to go to the back of the bus and will try and recover some positions as your leaders make their way.
Dunn is doing everything he can. He wants to get on the back of this train of 2 in front, and if he's just on the verge of staying, whether he stays in the tow or drops out of it. So Dunn is trying everything to get onto the back of Caleb Chin there, and I think he's going to do it. I think he's got close enough that he can get into that tow, but they seem to have dropped Katsudonis, and Roberts has dropped back. He's 2.7 seconds back. Caleb Hyde has passed him.
Yeah, Benny Roberts must have just got to slow down on the exit of the turn there. If you cut the track by just the littlest too much in turns 9 and 10, iRacing will actually issue you a slowdown on the main straightaway. You have to roll out of the throttle and ultimately give up track position here as this big boy's fighting over position coming out of turn 1 through what is not really turn 2, but it is.
Roberts back to 10th.
He's losing tons of time, so he must have
Roberts back to 11th. He's got to have 2 slowdowns. He must have copped another slowdown in turn 1. He is back to 11th place. That's the guy who was running on the tail of the 2 leaders as a challenger there for the win in the sprint race. Now he's back after 1 lap. He's back to 11th place. That is not what he planned, and that's a direct result of that move he made on the last lap of the. Get a room, boys.
Alex Court getting caught up there. Unfortunate for Alex. He's in the Virtual Motorsport Esports team, being caught up at turn 4, and you can see just from the look on his face exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, not happy.
Not happy at all. It must have been a significant slowdown there for Benny Roberts, or he might have copped a bit of damage. I didn't see exactly what the incident was, but look at this. Julian Dunn has managed to close up the gap to these 2. And he's right in the fight now. We'll go on board from the roll hoop. I love this shot. Down the main straight and up towards turn 1. Nicky Lauda corner. Julian Dunn, they move across the racetrack, try and open up the entry to the corner, and look at the way the car floats on the way into the apex. Julian using minimal amounts of steering lock to get the car into the corner, maximises the corner speed without having to scrub off speed from the front end of the car. He stays right in the toe of Chin, who has toe off of Woods.
The problem is if he pops the toe on Chin, Chin's got the toe off Woods, and as soon as Julian pops the toe, he actually doesn't go forwards, he goes backwards because he pops out of the toe, and so they're in like a DRS train here, Chris. They're just nose to tail. But Katsudonis is not out of this, and if they hold each other up a little bit, unfortunate there for Ben Miles. 10-second penalty. That's unfortunate for Ben.
It is unfortunate. It's so easy to make just a little error and find yourself caught up in something and copping a penalty later on as well. We don't issue penalties thinking that there's malicious intent in there either. As Thomas Hin's holding on to P6 right now. You can see how much he's off the back of Caleb Hyde, but look at them all stacking up behind him. Because he's got no toe, he's got no one to help him out. Effectively, he has no friends on the racetrack right now, and everyone is lining up to try and have a crack at him.
And Roberts is still back there in 11th. He has not made any progress since getting back to 11th, dropping back to 11th. So he's on the back of this train of, 6 cars? And the last one of those, the red car at the back, who's coming up the inside now, and trying to make a challenging turn. I reckon he's got some damage on there, Chris.
Yeah, I started to think about it when we looked at how quickly he was dropping back. He might have got the slowdown and some damage. So we'll see whether that affects his race, because he might get the opportunity. We do have to stop for fuel at some point during this race to try and get the fast repair and get back out in this hunt.
And also we were talking about Jack Mara earlier, who was really up the front. Now he's back in 19th place. So that's really not where Jack belongs. He's a much better racer than that.
Well, that said, he is up 15 spots from where he started, so he had a shocker in the sprint race as we go on board with Damien Cairns, the Accelerate Sim Racing entry, fighting it out with Zachary Smith on this racetrack. But Jack Mara, who we spoke about, in 19th, he started 34th in this race. So he's good moves as we check this out. Check this out. 3 wide on the exit of turn 3 here. Damien Cairns getting robbed and losing another spot. So Will Ryan fighting his way back up the field now as we go on board.
Will Ryan's well down the field at the moment.
Yeah, they are well and truly down there, positions 20, 21, and 22. That's Smith, Ryan, and Cairns.
And the guy battling with Jack Mara early on was Ewan Baker. Now, Ewan's back in 28th. So those guys, New Zealand is not having a great night tonight.
No, they got caught up during the sprint race and unfortunately are paying the price at the moment in the feature. Check this out from Julian Dunn. He's dropped back a little bit further behind, and Kalen Chen was moving around, almost looking like he was thinking about a move on Damon Woods here. Now, we know those two are talking in voice chat, communicating with each other, which is probably not going to go well for your prediction and your hopes, Dave.
No,
if Kalen makes
but it
well.
only takes one mistake, Chris. A wheel over a curb, a touch of the grass, a run wide, a slow down, anything, and Kalen is through and gone. So it is Damon is just working on making a perfect race. It is no mistakes, because one mistake and it's all gone.
That was a brilliant move there. Watching Harry Lawrence.
Yeah, good move.
Was it Lawrence getting the job done up the inside? I think it was. It was a great move up at turn number 4. Is just ahead of them right now. Ben Roberts starting to make his way through the field. Let's check out that move again into turn 4. Watch the 16 car of Harry Lawrence up the inside.
Slide it down the inside.
And gets the job done. So it wasn't Lawrence. Lawrence actually picked up the spot in the process, but it was Rob Bowden getting the job done on Tommy Hines initially.
Professor.
And then Lawrence picked up the spot on the back end of the move. That moved both of them into the top 10, and they're just watching in on Benny Roberts, who's just a little bit further up the road, sneaking up on his Simrigs DPR teammates.
So Roberts is back up to 8th, so he's made a little bit of progress there, and he's now in behind Evans and Phil Worley, who are, as you say, his 2 teammates. So the 3 teammates running 6, 7, and 8 all together. And look at Kalen here. He's sitting absolutely in the wheel tracks. And as you said, they're talking, but they both want to win, Chris. Oh, look at this. Look at this.
That's getting a bit up close and personal.
That is very personal.
For Woods and Chen, they're flirting with the dangerous side of netcode within iRacing right now, as Julian Dunn probably watched that and just held his breath for a moment, hoping that they
Come on, Tom.
Cut that kind of behaviour out. Otherwise, he could be the person that gets caught up in their incident. With Caleb Hydes, we just saw on screen up to P5 from P6 on the starting grid. After being out of P10 on the starting grid for the sprint race. We go further back as Scott Bartain up the inside gets the job done on Brody Shepherd, who's going to try and go the long way around. They still actually hold side by side here through turns 6 and 7. Bartain grabs the spot and puts Shepherd down now to P17.
And Shepherd's lost a little bit of momentum there, so whoever that is behind him, and I think it is Rogers in the orange car, has now got a little momentum. He gets the momentum in his favour. So this is where as soon as you get past, you get off the line, you lose a bit of pace, and next thing you know, you're under threat from behind. So it's so easy to get on the old bogey train, and once you get past, you drop 3 or 4 spots, like we saw Sainz do on the weekend last weekend in Formula 1.
Yeah, well, it's a classic Ferrari kind of mood that they're having at the moment. It's interesting to note the cars not actually moving around as much as I thought they would have been on this track. They are fairly low downforce cars, and the benefit that comes with that, especially on a track like this, is the aero wash actually isn't as pronounced when you're racing with other cars. It allows you to race closer. I mean, we're seeing guys like Bailey Evans, Benny Roberts, and Phil Worley all glued to each other at the moment. They're actually able to race like that without worrying about the aero wash just forcing the cars to understeer straight off the track, especially in the high-speed sections, turn 6, turn 7, and then turns 9 and 10. They're actually able to race very closely. So it proves that these F4s can be quite a lot of fun to drive, and not really having some of those big aerodynamic headaches that you get from the bigger cars like an F3 or even a X5000 or Formula Renault 3.5 car.
Yeah, the thing is though, when you're in the tow in one of these, you do lack a little bit of downforce. As much as the wings are pretty much flat, front and rear on these things, so they don't have enough horsepower to pull them. They are still wings, and when you do get in the corner, you do get a bit of aero wash, and that's what's making it hard to get on the back and get that tow and get past people, whereas in a Formula Ford, you don't have that issue with the aero wash, so you can actually get a much better run. Look how tight these two are together. So
that's fantastic racing between these two, isn't it? Now they're probably communicating and having a big old laugh in voice chat together. It's either that or Damon Woods is absolutely having hysterics with Caitlin Chin's antics, because he is getting really close and tucking underneath the sculpted rear fairing on those gearboxes with these FIA F4 cars. Meanwhile, Julian Dunn, the Altus Esports entry, just sitting back and watching this happen. He's probably at the moment. He's really got the box seat for this, and you can see how much tighter he goes in to turn 6 and runs it wider at an earlier part of the corner as he watches these two fight it out. He's just waiting for his moment here. There we go. We get Weiser-Can. Luke on the switching, knowing exactly what turns us on.
And Chris, do you think, like, my thought is the pit stop is going to be everything, because there's nothing between these guys on the road. The difference will be who can nail that pit stop. Oh, somebody in the fence or on the exit of the last turn on the right-hand side.
There, just facing against the fence there. The in-lap pit entry and executing the pit stop with exactly the right amount of fuel needed and getting out on track as clean and as quick as possible. That is going to make or break this race for any one of these top three, if not someone beyond, if we have a Hail Mary and a miracle. Because think about it, Tom Katsadonis is only 2.2 seconds off the back of this battle right now.
It's not far, is it?
That far down the road. It's just that these top three look so far out in a league of their own. But Katsadonis, he's still in the hunt here.
A replay here.
Here we go.
What have we got a replay of?
Our spun car on the main straight or not, as we're going to turn 6.
Ooh.
Synchronized spinning for Nick Bottrell and one of the Andreg cars. Now, that wasn't Andrew Johnson again, was it?
Don't know. It was one of them. This is the car that's had the issue. So it's Alex Court who's had the issue. Whoa! That looked like that almost looked like gear failure of some kind.
Yeah, he
very strange.
Right on the exit of the final corner, and he to the inside of the track, which is pretty uncharacteristic for the Red Bull Ring. Check this out, these three still glued together. I love this racing. If only there was some more passing going on at the front of the field right now. Damon Woods holding on from Caitlin Chin and Julian Dunn. Someone jumping in the YouTube comments and telling us that they're laughing in voice chat, so that can tell the story. I'm assuming that's about these three, or at least two of them, with Woods and Chin fighting it out at the pointy end of the field. As Chin grabs a little bit of the exit curve in. Now that hurts his exit speed just a little bit. Is Julian Dunn going to get the elbows out and try and seize that opportunity and maybe stop some of that laughter from the two in front of him? No, he decides to tuck back in behind us. We get that rearward facing shot with Caitlin Chin on the exit of turn 3.
I see Thomas Hinds dropping down the list a little bit there. Has he jumped into the pits? Is that what we've got here? The first of the pit stops? It looks like it. Thomas Hinds has been in for an early stop, so can he undercut the guys in front?
That's a big move to make fairly early in the race. So Caitlin's dad actually jumping in the YouTube comment section. That's what I love about this racing. You got someone in another room of the house filling us in with the info in the comment section. So hello to Caitlin's family and Caitlin's dad watching on, and thanks for the inside line on the goings on inside that sim room right now, as I'm sure they're having a good time out front. But Julian Dunn is trying to spoil this party. I'm keen to keep an eye on now with Thomas Hinds and see whether he can make an impact. It's a pretty early move to make, Dave. We've still got 30 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, but it depends whether he comes out in a hole where he can put some good time in and got somebody quick in front of him, maybe get a little bit of a tow, or if he comes out in traffic, he can go backwards. So it is all where he re-enters the circuit and where he sits in the line of cars as to what difference he can make. If he comes out early, he's got fresh tyres, a good run, he's got some pace on, and he could really make some spots there.
Well, he's got himself a bit of clean air at the moment. He's rejoined in 23rd on the racetrack. He's 3 seconds off the back of the next car up the road, so he's got time on his side as well. He does have a good spot. Right behind him, actually, is Ewan Baker, who featured so prominently in the opening round of the championship from Laguna Seca. It feels like a lifetime ago, but Ewan having a night to forget here for round number 2. He is way down the order from where he wanted to be, 23rd, and probably putting on a bit of pressure on the back of Thomas Hinz and just thinking, come on, are you going to get a move on here, or am I going to have to race you?
It's interesting to see different drivers, because a lot of these guys are driving multiple championships. So they're doing the Formula Ford, or they're doing F4 and the S5000. It's interesting to see where their strengths lie, and some people are really quick in the S5000, like Andre Yusuf is super quick in the S5000, but he seems to be struggling a bit in an F4. But Damon Wood seems to be fast in everything he puts his butt in.
Well, it can be a simple matter of seat time as well. If Damon's got the opportunity to put in a bunch of work and kind of get accustomed to the way each car has its little nuances on each individual track. I know it can sometimes be the make or break here as Caleb Hydes now comes into pit row. And Caleb's had an up and down run so far. He's probably being a little bit more conservative in the feature race now. I talked about his incident points after just 15 minutes in the sprint race. He has only just 7 so far in the feature. So he's cut his incident point hit rate down by about a half. But even then, we're on a 17-point limit for this race. If he gets another 10, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. It's another 8 rounds of this series to go yet. Surely these guys can't just run around for the next 8 rounds, nose to tail like they're doing now, but wouldn't put it past them, would you, Chris?
I'm sure they'd love to. As Woods and Chin making their way into turns 6 and 7.
Whoa.
A bit further behind.
Backwards down the hill. That's a very interesting entry into turn 4 there, backwards.
He's lost it on the way in as he gotten caught up here. Looks like there it is.
Little touch.
There's a touch, and there's someone else off the road. And was he on the brakes? Because that rolled a fair way across the apex of the corner and found the side of one of the Simrigs cars that he was with.
You really can't help that when that's a little bit of a squeeze there from car 80, who Harry Lawrence has pulled over a little bit to the left and squeezed him a bit, and they've touched wheels. And once the thing starts spinning and it's going backwards, you can stand on the brake all you like, but the momentum is there, and it's really hard to pull that car up, especially in a downhill down into here like we're seeing now. See it? Anyway, hopefully it looks like they're all not too damaged, and they've really not lost too much out of that.
Yeah, it looks like Lawrence's car is actually A-OK, although Rob Bowden had some wing damage. He's now in pit road, as is Harry Lawrence. So both of them taking the opportunity, and why wouldn't you as well, as Kalen Chin has also taken the opportunity, has he? Because he's dropped back. He's lost some ground. I'm looking to my pit timer. Kalen has not gone to pit row, but he's lost
what
out.
happened?
So
we
while
missed
we're
it.
watching replays, all happily seeing all the action here at turn 4.
Call to the director.
Luke's going to find it for us here. Here we go. The exit of turn 8. Kalen looking to the inside a little bit on the run towards turn 9. What's happened? He's lost it.
He's touched. Yeah, we said he was right up the bottom and tickling the bottom of Damon Woods into the corner. He's got a little too close. He's got a little too close, and he's actually lost it.
Yeah, let's see here from on board here with Kalen. He's got the toe. He's closing right up onto the back of Damon. And he gets into the corner. Damon slows, and man, it would have been the slightest of touches, but I think the panic moment there for Kalen, thinking he was going to fire into the gearbox of his mate, caused most of the spin there at turn 9. So that puts Kalen back to P4. Now, that's not a really horrible place to be, as Julian Dunn sees his opportunity. He's back in the second now.
Julian's another one of what I call the professors in this sport, and he'll be thinking his way to the front. So lots of experience and tremendous amount of experience. One of the drivers of the VRS, the Virtual Racing School, and all their setups, and the guy, there's nothing he doesn't know about racing online. So and he's fast, but he's not just fast. He knows how to think his way to the front. So he's sitting there in P2, and you wouldn't take him. If you had good money, you'd put it on him.
Yeah, the way Julian talks about manipulating the car around you, especially when you go on virtual racing school. You watch his tutorials, and he talks about how to manage a fixed setup car, or how to get the most out of the setups that they provide for the open setup tutorials, especially in the open wheel cars. It's very insightful, and I actually had a lot of benefit from following his tutorials when I was putting in a lot of time racing, and actually did some one-on-one sessions with the guy. Incredibly helpful, and the way he thinks about and understands a car around him, even in the sim racing world, is fantastic, and that's why he finds himself second and putting a lot of pressure on the back of Damon Woods, as Julian has the fastest lap of the race. It's no surprise we're talking about him with such high regard. He's done a 1:31.4. Look at this, Lawrence and Baker going side by side through turn 6.
I was going to mention that he's got the fastest lap of the race. You stole my thunder there, Chris. So, but look at these guys side by side, nothing in it, and hanging it out around the outside there. Harry Lawrence has done an awesome job and retained that place in front of Ewan Baker. So Ewan's a real good guy to race with. You don't see Ewan make mistakes. He doesn't put wheels on people. He doesn't touch people. Now he's going to do it for me, surely. But yeah, he is a really, really, really good racer, and here he is, smart, up the inside, and then back on it again. These boys are having a ball.
Yeah, Lawrence has actually given him a car length on the braking zone here and gets a better exit off of one. So he's played.
Here we go again.
Here he's going to look to the inside, up the hill at turn 3. This is allowing Bull to drive onto the back of this battle, as Lawrence doesn't get the full amount of overlap on the brakes into turn 3, but Baker has to yield the inside line. They're going to come out side by side. Now I'm waiting for Stephen Bull to appear on the scene here, because he was right in on this battle, and he's actually further behind than I thought he would have been as they head down towards turn number 4, trying to get the toe. And just watch this unfold at the moment. You don't want to be fighting too aggressively when you're fighting over a collective 16th place.
I was going to say, we are battling. We are battling here for 16th place, Chris. You know, it isn't. It's a small sheep station that's on offer here.
Just a small one as well. No one's actually told me the location of the sheep station for the series here. The Motorsports Australia FIA F4 Esports Cup, driven by FRG and Racecraft Simulations. Yes, look at this though, Julian Dunn. Still staying in touch with Damon Woods. He's just right there or thereabouts.
It's going to be a pit stop. Everything's about the pit stop.
It sure is. Now, we saw the way the pit stop panned out in the last race for these, and Damon Wood...
Oh, there's the sheep station.
Oh, there it is. Luke just dropping us the geolocation for that one.
Either that or I'm not sure. That might have just been a headshot of Jack Mara and Ewan Baker.
Any of the Kiwi fans watching on will be loving you right now, Dave Roberts.
Yeah, sorry.
He's not really sorry, I can tell you that, folks.
No, not at all.
So I wonder how much longer we can go with these two before we're going to have to start looking at pit road. We're down to 20 minutes and 45 seconds left in the feature.
Very soon.
For round 2 here from Spielberg. How much further can either of these two stretch the fuel load on these cars? You can see the first one in the top 10 who's gone to pit road with Caleb Hydes. He's done 4 laps since going to pit road, and he's looking in on everyone in front of him, hoping that he's still in touch to try and make some impact and get back to the top 5.
Yes, it's all about a pit stop. So we've got 6, 7, 8 guys who've got to jump into the pit lane. How far up can Caleb Hydes get from 10th there? I reckon Caleb can get up to probably 5th place. But I'm looking there and seeing Katsudonis and Chin here together. They're working together and trying to use that slipstream, work together to get themselves back on the front. They're not going to make it. It's too big a gap. But they might be able to close a bit of that with the pit stop.
It's easy to capitalise if there's a mistake in front of you. I mean, we saw what happened to Kalen Chin. He made that spin at turn 9, lost all of that time and fell back to where he is. So it's a matter of, yes, you have to maybe reduce your expectations at some point in this race, but never give up and never say die, because you never know what's going to happen to any of the cars in front of you. We might have a big pile-up. We might get a safety car, and then will have all that work undone, and they'll be right on the lead pair again.
Absolutely. It is about time we had a safety car, isn't it?
He's putting it right on now. We might spring Lockie Capel into action with the safety car tonight, waiting in the steward's room, working with Rue Koister and Ty Ratcliffe, who are watching on in race control right now, just keeping an eye on everything that's going on with the 34 cars we have racing on track here for the second round of this championship in Spielberg.
It has been a really clean night's racing, though, Chris. We haven't seen any big pile-ups. We haven't. I'm saying this trying to make it happen, but we haven't seen any big pile-ups. We haven't really seen any major issues. I think we're looking there at race controls
there we are,
screen, so you can see there they've got their main screen, watching the overall action from the helicopter. They've got their positions on track in the top right-hand corner. Below that, they're watching individual cars that are running closely at the moment, and there's the leaders board, which shows the reds and the greens. Reds say there's an incident, somebody falling down. Greens are somebody making a pass. So we're seeing that on the left-hand side, and they're watching all of that to see what's happening and try and stay on top of everything that's going on. So you can see there they just switched in the middle one into a closer helicopter view to see what was going on.
There's just a little bit going on in there, and one of them usually has the stream open, watching the live stream on Race Stars TV as well as we check out this battle here. This is Phil Worley and Reese Magetz, the two SimRigs.com DPR entrants, or two of the 6, I believe, that we have in the field here of 34 tonight. They're fighting over 6th and 7th on the racetrack behind another one of their teammates, Benny Roberts, who's back to P5. We haven't spoken about him for a little bit of time. As then the 4th of the teammates, Tom Katsadonis, the leading car for the SimRigs team, just copping an absolute huge amount of pressure from Caleb Chin right behind him as they climb the hill to Nicky Lauda turn. And Katsadonis.
Safety car. We have a safety car. I said it. I asked for it. We got it.
Okay.
We have a safety car. I'm not quite sure why we've got it. But there's a safety car out now which will close field right up. And guess what? Caleb Hydes is looking really good because he's made his pit stop.
He has.
And he's going to be sitting there in P10. I don't think the guys in front of him can get in and out in time to head him off. This could be looking really good for Caleb. This is about track position. It's about getting that pits. That's why I think if you've got an opportunity, get your pit stop done. Get your pit stop done. Get track position. Get as far up the road as you can. And here's we're seeing why we now Rogan de Toit has had some sort of issue here because this. I'm guessing this is and he's gone right round. I'm going to guess. Somebody's going to clobber him, aren't they?
Going to drive into someone trying to get going again. No, he Austin Powers it up against the fence on the exit of turn 3.
There's got to be more to come.
No, it looks like that's about it. And we have ended up with a safety car that has.
I hope that wasn't the safety car.
To be neutralised. I do hope it wasn't the full cause for the safety car. But that is the status quo. Lockie Capel on track now with the FRG Aston Martin GT4 safety car. And they're already trying to pick up the leader here.
Everybody's gone to the pits. So Woods, Chin, Dunn, Roberts, Worley, Margetts have all headed to the pits. But Tom Katsadonis has stayed out on the track. He hasn't made his pit stop. So I don't know what Tom's trying to do here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve. I mean, necessarily now refresh me on the regulations. Is a pit stop mandatory?
Yes. Well, no.
Yeah.
You probably need one to finish the race with fuel. So
yeah.
And considering it's been green all the way, I'd be very surprised if somebody could get to the end.
I would be too. I mean, I've only seen it happen a couple of times in the history of, or my short history of being involved with FRG, that you can make it all the way to the end without a pit stop. I won one of those races doing just that. But it's going to be interesting to see what Tom Katsadonis' game is. We get another replay here. This is Paul Rogers in the Synergy Sim Racing car. That's a big shunt.
Well, that was a big shunt. Now, also, I'm noticing Caleb Hydes has made a second pit stop, so he must have made that pit stop very, very early on, Chris, and not had enough fuel to finish the race. So that's what I'm guessing. So Caleb has not got the advantage that we thought he had, and Damon Woods is effectively in the lead the race effectively because, you know, he's made his pit stop. So whereas Tom Katsaronis hasn't.
So that was the reason for the safety car on screen. Brody trusted it. We'll see it again here. He's had this crash heading up towards turn 3 and has actually gotten stuck with the car. Now, if the car's anywhere near the racing line, which it is right on the racing line, right in the braking zone, they'll use the same level of caution used in real-world racing to provide us the best simulation possible and call the safety car. So that's why we have gone behind Lockie Capel. So at least we're glad that it wasn't the other car that spun on the exit of turn 3 the cause of our safety car here, Dave.
Yes, no, I'm pleased about that because the other one was sort of like turned around, put it the right way and drove off, and it was like the Clayton safety car, the safety car you have when you're having a safety car. But,
what is going on here? Here goes Tom Katsaronis. This is going to be excruciatingly painful to watch here for Tom because he's held the race lead under safety car, now pits, and he's going to let the entire field go past him just to get his fill up on fuel to get finished.
Oh, this is painful. Look at him falling down the list. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. He's going to be outside of the top 20 here, Chris. That's just heartbreaking.
What this does do is
14.
set up a bit of a play going on here because look at Ben Roberts, P4 as a result of that. Kalen Chin back to P3. If Benny can stay with these lead 3, this is going to be a sprint race to the finish. We are only 12.5 minutes from the end here at Red Bull Ring, and you have Benny Roberts on the outside looking in here. Not bad considering he fell back to, what was it, P11 earlier in the race? Yeah,
so we've got Woods, Dunn, Chin and Roberts as a battle group of 4, and don't count out Philip Worley. Phil is incredibly quick and he can mix up in this lot as well. And the other thing is, if you look at Ben Roberts and Phil Worley, they're the same team, so they're teammates. Can they work together and push themselves up to the front of this race? I think they possibly can, you know, Chris. And we know that Ben is incredibly aggressive when he wants to really get to the front. So I think we could be seeing some fireworks shortly.
They've got a couple more teammates behind them too. There's Reese Magetz and Bailey Evans behind them, 6th and 7th on the road here. So they're all from the DPR, simrigs.com DPR team, all lining up in the quad right now. Notable mention to Stephen Bull, up 18 spots to P11. Jack Mara from 34th on the grid. He's up 20 spots and 14th. He's been making a comeback for like the last 30 minutes or so, trying to get back in the hunt here. There he is, the Scuderia DSR Snackerchangi entry, trying to get his way back in the fight. He's 14th. He might still be able to score a top 10 finish here.
We're green. We're green, and they're off again. And look, Roberts has just dropped that he's got a little bit of a hole there. He's missed that restart. And we're seeing here Callan Chin attacking Julian Dunn up the outside. He's going to try and go wide, get the run out here and get him down to the hairpin. He's got the run. Look at the run he's got out of that turn 1. He's got the speed. He's popped the toe. And now look at this. Woods pulling across the right-hand side of the road to give his teammate or the guys who's talking to on the radio to give him the rundown and a little bit of a toe down into turn 1. And Roberts has got back in there as well. So this isn't far from over, Chris.
This is going to be red hot on the restart here. 10 minutes remain in the feature race for round 2 of the Motorsports Australia FIA F4 Esports Cup from Red Bull Ring, Spielberg, Austria. Kalen Chin back into 2nd. Got the elbows out with Julian Dunn here, who's back to 3rd. Then the quad of Simrigs cars as Roberts, Worley and Margetts, as Roberts has dropped a spot on the exit of turn 4. He's actually dropped another spot. He's losing out here. Benny Roberts has made a mistake at turn 4 and falls to the back of his group of teammates. So Phil Worley now goes up to P4, and just as we were hoping that Benny Roberts would be in the hunt, he's fallen down 3 spots and fallen back in the field as Jackson Pringle falls down the order after a spin at turn 6.
Look at this. Damon Woods has cracked a little gap out here, and he's got away from Callan Chin. It's only 3-4 car lengths, but yeah, that could be enough to break the toe. So especially if Julian Dunn starts attacking Chin. Now I'm seeing Caleb Dawson falling down through the field.
Yeah, we've got a couple of spinners on the exit of the final corner here. Dawson parks right on the racing line. There was another car firing to the inside of the racetrack as well. Not sure who was that.
I think we may have another safety car here.
And here we go. Let's get the replay and see what happened here. This is Thomas Hinz.
Oh, he's lost it. He's just lost it.
Up. So Dawson spun and Hinz fired into the back of it.
We got another safety car, Chris.
And safety car begats safety car. We're going to go back under the yellow.
Breed.
And we're going to fall back under the control of Lockie Capel, who was probably eyeing off a nice quiet night at the office. As look at that. That's a big spin there for Dawson. Hinz fires it into the back of him, and then look at the carnage that unfolds behind us. The 16 car tries to avoid the 41. Who was that? Getting firing into them as well.
41 was Stephen Bull. How unfortunate after such a great night's effort. He charged up through the field to have that happen. But the trouble is, they're so close. When somebody makes a mistake, it affects everybody. Look at them all here. Whoa! Stephen Bull got away with that.
Yeah, he did cop some damage though, so he's going to have to go through pit lane and repair it. So has Caleb Dawson. You can see him parked up in pit lane there.
And just as Damon Woods thought he was making his escape, out comes the safety car, and they're all back on his tail again. So he's got Chin on his tail, Dunn's there, Wally Magetz. Roberts is back to 7th. That was, I'd love to see what happened to Roberts there if our director's on point. I'd love to see what happened to Roberts there, because he dropped from 4th back to 7th. Yeah. He's got to make a mistake coming out of turn 4, and looks like here we go. Get a
look at it here. So
car 73
is at the lead of the red cars. I think he drops off the edge of the track. Yes, he does.
There it is.
So he actually ran off track and did a great job to keep control of the car, and then let his teammates go by. There's no sense in trying to pull across the track and defend from them. And
see how little a mistake that was, and what big repercussion it was. 3 places on the road, 4 places on the road, 3 places on the road from one little, just getting 6 inches too wide on the exit of that corner.
So that puts him back to P7. Now this probably helps him a little bit, but time is running out to make a run to the podium. Where, what are we, 6 minutes 35 from the finish here in the feature race.
Pretty quick lap here.
It is a quick lap, but it's only got a few corners, and there's only really, I'm going to say 2, maybe 3 passing opportunities if you're right on it. But as soon as you make one, you lose touch of the car in front of you, or in front of the car you're just passing, and it can make life hard if you're trying to really make a run through multiple cars in the closing laps. As we sit behind safety car, I'm going to assume we're probably set to go green in a moment, and we won't be far away from the blanket toe portion of the race that should see us go green to the finish. It's typical FRG form where we get a blanket toe within the last couple of minutes, as you can see.
Lockie Capel there has belted off in the safety car, so he's off on his way back to the pit lane, clearing the road ahead, and Damon Woods will take over the role of the safety car and the role of the restart and when he wants to go. So Chin is all over the back of him here, and
this is going to be the critical moments on the restart. Julian Dunn already still weaving, trying to keep the heat in the tyres.
He nearly lost the car there, weaving so hard.
Yeah, he had a pretty big slide on there for Julian.
I'd say we've gone.
There we are. We're on green, and they've caught Julian out. They've caught everyone else out by a huge margin. Look at the margin already. We haven't even hit the front straight, but Kalen Chin is right in the hunt here. He's buried under the gearbox of his mates, Damon Woods, as they charge up towards turn number 1 at Nicky Lauda turn. And he's going to stay back in behind him. I thought he might have gone for the move there. And
if you're looking for the run out of, if you're looking for the run out of 1, down into 2. 2 is the place to pass. It's down to that hairpin.
He hasn't really got the charge at the moment as they go through the little kink in the straights, and Kalen Chin tucking in behind Damon Woods up the hill at 3. Julian Dunn actually lost out on the restart, but has now found himself right on the back of Kalen Chin, probably getting the advantage of that toe as they build up to full race pace in these final couple of moments. Right behind, it's a battle of the Simrigs cars. It's Worley, Magetz, Evans and Roberts, positions 4 through 7. And Jack Mara into P8. He snuck up in there. He's up 26 spots from where he started.
Jack.
That's a good run there for Jack Mara so far. There's a couple of guys with some pretty high incident points in this one right now. Reese Margette's on 14 incident points, and Caleb Hyde's also on 14. Are probably starting to feel a little bit nervous around these other cars and hoping to not rack up those final few points and score themselves a penalty in this race. Right up there.
We saw a touch there. And who's that? That's Jackson Pringle off into the fence. Lost the rear wing. Going the low downforce option there, Chris, but it's not going to work for him for those last few laps.
Yeah, that's going to become pretty diabolical to drive, even by low downforce and slicks racing F4 standards, as we're 3.5 minutes left to go here in lead trio. This is on board with Woods, looking back on Kalen Chin.
I don't think Callan's going to make any effort until, maybe. He's having to go down the outside here. But I'm thinking, I can't see him making an effort until that last lap. But because if they make one mistake here, guess who's up the inside? And he didn't get the run. He did not get the run. I thought he'd get a run there and down the inside of Chin, but he hasn't. So Julian Dunn's still sitting back there in third place.
Yeah, that's pretty narrow, but he seemed to run out of room very quickly on the exit of turn 3.
And here we go again.
Peek up the inside at 4, but can't get the run on the exit because he had some overlap with Chin, so he has to give it up again. As Woods here using a bit of his off-track. He just recorded an off-track on the way into turn number 6. It's actually really easy to score the off-track on the way into turn number 6 while using the rumble strip to open up the corner, so he's now up to 10 as he got another one just then. So Woods now starting to explore how far he can push the envelope on track limits to try and maximize the lap speed and hold on to the race lead, because he knows that Chin and Dunn are right on him here. Now Dunn using the exit of the final corner. That surely looked like an off track, but he might have just got away with it and scraped his way through here because he's staying right in this battle. 2 minutes to go.
Got a bit close there under brakes, so these guys are absolutely on the limit. And look, Phil Worley there. Phil Worley's still in that toe too. Anything goes wrong, you never know what could happen. And here we go, 2 abreast down to the hairpin again. And again, Damon has covered that inside and made Chin go round the outside and the long way round. And again, Chin's been smart enough that he's held it back and got that run out of the corner to be able to hold the second place. But look at Worley here. Worley's on the move, and he's getting the toe from the guys in front here, Chris.
This is a mugging in progress, I think, as Phil Worley wants to be part of this. Look at him take the outside a long way around turn 4. He's given up a bit of that track position, but he's got a great run and a huge amount of drive coming off that corner as Woods trying to maximize the entry into 6. Jack Murrah and Caleb Hyde's going at it through turn 6.
Mara's wide.
Road, he got a bit of a swapper on and just keeps it on the racetrack. So he gives up the spot to Hydes for position number 8 as Katz at Ernest behind in P10. Watching that unfold, we have 45 seconds left to go. They'll see the white flag this time by, and it is going to be on for Long and Old on this final lap. Check this out, onto the main straight for the penultimate time. White flag is in the air, and Damon Woods has 1 lap to try and hold on to this one from Kalen Chin in second. What can the likes of Julian Dunn or Phil Worley make of this final lap?
Now here we go, and he's already down there trying to go down the inside. He's gone back to the outside. He just can't get that room down the inside. Damon's got it covered. And did you see there when they came out of turn 1, Chin has dived straight to the inside, but Damon already had him down the inside, covered it, and now he's going to try and make a late run here and come out on the inside over and under, but Damon's got that run out of there. He's so good on his car positioning and his just how to run that car and not lose momentum in his defence. But look at this, Dunn's now down the outside of Chin, and Worley's there trying to pick up whatever he can. I think these guys are going to finish just like they are now. I can't see anybody. There's not a crack in anybody's armour here, Chris.
Yeah, this is uber tight, and I don't think Julian Dunn is going to find a way past Kalen Chin in these last couple of corners. Through turn 6, you can see Julian working the wheel, trying to maximise the corner speed as he runs it very wide between 6 and 7.
Not going to do it from here. There's nowhere to pass from here. All the passing places are gone, and they're going to run to the flag like this, I think, Chris. Unless somebody makes a huge mistake in that last corner, just trying to overdo it, push a little bit too hard, I can't see anything happening from here.
As they bring it out of the final corner, the checkered flag in the air. And it's a beautiful drive, taking the win. Damon Woods picks up round 2 here of the Motorsports Australia FIA F4 Esports Cup. And Kalen Chin home in second, Julian Dunn in third, and Philip Worley home in P4 with Benny Roberts rounding out your top 5. As a thriller of a final lap there, Dave. Plenty of action going on and trying to find the inside line, but it was pretty solid finish for these three, finishing nose to tail across the line, and how they had run for so long in this feature race.
Yeah, that was really tight. There really wasn't, as I said, there wasn't a crack in anybody's armour. Nobody was giving an inch away, and they just finished nose to tail. That's a little bit F4-like, because it is really, really hard to pass in these cars. So we go off to Phillip Island next round, and after that we're at Sandown. So we've got a double-header Australian rounds coming up. Be interested to see how they go there. I think Phillip Island we might see a little bit more action, because the speed onto the straight is speed down the straight there is higher than anywhere else, any other track in the world pretty much. So we might see the toe working a little bit more, that people can actually get by rather than having to cover the way that Damon was there.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it as we check your feature race results here. Damon Woods continues his charge in this championship after picking up 100 points from round 1 at Laguna Seca a few weeks ago. He repeats the same feats here at round 2 in Spielberg, Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Newcomer to the championship, Kalen Chin, home in second by a margin of just 0.2 of a second right at the end of the race there. And Julian Dunn, the Altus Esports entry, home in third, from Philip Worley, leading a solid charge for the Simrigs team from Benny Roberts in P5, Reese Margetts in P6, who got home with just a few off tracks, and Bailey Evans in P7. Caleb Hides joins him in the 8th spot. Jack Mara, a great drive up 25 spots from his starting position in the feature race, gets inside the top 10, comes home P9, and Tom Katsadonis will be kicking himself after having to take the car through pit lane while the whole field was bunched up behind the safety car. He manages to come out P10.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate for Tom. He was right at the front of the field, and that little mistake, he should have taken that pit stop the first lap when everyone else went in, but he didn't. He missed out, and it's cost him about 7 or 8 places on the road. Very, very disappointing for Tom.
Yeah, it's very upsetting, I'm sure, as we get our top 3 into the broadcast studio. Congratulations to Damon Woods. Another night at the pointy end of the field.
Thanks, mate. Once again, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. That safety car made it quite interesting at the end.
What was going through your mind with that those last couple of laps and the last minute dash with your mate Kalen right behind, pushing you along all the way around the track?
White line, more white line, and white line again. That was my mentality for those last couple of laps. Just make sure he doesn't get up the inside.
Were you exercising the off tracks, trying to strategically use those last few incident points to your advantage?
That wasn't even running through my mind. I kind of just, I think I took one at the end just to make sure, but no, I wasn't concerned about trying to extend the track as much as I can, because ultimately they're going to catch anyway in a straight line.
Well, congratulations once again, mate. A class act to take the win tonight.
Thank you very much.
I'll hand over to Dave Roberts, who can take it away with Callan.
Dalen, excellent drive, mate. You certainly put some pressure on there. A little mistake in the heat race, but fantastic effort debuting in the series. But what are you going to do to beat Damon next time?
Just be quicker. But yeah, it was a lot of fun pushing him and racing him for the lead as well. But he's definitely the one to beat, that's for sure.
There wasn't much opportunity there, was there? I noticed you tried to go down the inside, and he had the inside covered on that last lap. He wasn't let you down that inside, no matter what happened, and making you go the long way around. It's a long way around the outside round here. Yeah,
I tried to do the switchback, but it just wasn't enough. And fair play to Damon on his defending. It was really good. I could not do anything, but Yeah, Red Bull Ring over.
So Phillip Island next time. That's your revenge.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you.
We'll go to Julian Dunn now, home in third. Congratulations, mate. That was pretty exciting towards the end there.
Yeah, thank you. Damon, did you say white wine? Like a bottle of white wine? Are you even old enough to drink?
White wine, sorry, my bad.
I still heard wine. I
heard wine.
That's what I heard again.
Maybe the mic's screwing me over.
Wishful thinking for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even with a bottle of white, you'd probably have won tonight. But I was just playing it a little bit safe. I've had a few scrappy races recently, so just trying to hope that maybe the guys in front would trip each other up, take an opportunity. I was sort of ready to go if that happened and ready to make a few moves towards the end, but didn't really play out that way. I'm pretty happy with third just after a few scrappy races. So yeah, that'll do.
A solid result, mate. What can we expect coming up? Phillip Island, we know you love that circuit.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. It's going to be another draft track, I think. And by that, I mean draft, not giraffes. I can sound similar. But yeah, I think it'll be probably similar sort of racing to this. So yeah, it was pretty exciting, I guess. So yeah, hopefully another good one.
Oh, still a solid result, home on the podium. We'll then go back the other way. We'll start with you with the thank yous.
Me? Oh, okay, yeah. Logitech G Racing, Altus Esports. VRS more so. We've that's kind of it actually. Thank you.
You got there in the end, Julian.
I got to practice that.
Yeah, I have that wine.
Yeah, I got one eye on it.
Work on that one for the future. To Kalen, congratulations once again for second. Who do you have to thank?
I really have to thank my parents, my family for watching and supporting me. I also have to thank my team, Wave Italy, and also my friends as well for supporting me throughout the race. And yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Good run for second tonight. We're looking forward, hoping to see you some more in this series after you missed the first round.
Yeah, I'm still bummed that my mistake missed me out on the first round, but there's still the rest of the season, and hopefully things can go well there.
Yeah, Rook Oyster was telling us about that before we started. You just didn't quite watch the notifications at the right time.
Yeah, I just misread it. I don't know how I misread the announcement, but it is what it is. Can't really change the past.
History now.
Experience. We'll move on then to Damon Woods, your winner tonight. Who do you have to thank, mate?
As always, I'd like to thank Dirt Esports, VRS, Recaro, JBL, Tailored Rig, Arima Sportswear, SX Group, and also to Kalen for having a great race tonight and helping me out a bit as well.
Well, there you go. Congratulations once again. You consolidate that championship lead. We'll see you at the third round.
Thank you very much.
So that is a wrap for the on-track activity tonight, Dave. It's been a solid night of racing, although seemingly rather processional at the pointy end of the field. But I can tell just through the way they are in the interview room that the boys had some fun in the Motorsports Australia FIA F4 Esports Cup Round 2 from Spielberg.
Next week, we're back with Formula Ford, we're at Monza. And if you think this is processional, next week will not be processional because they will be 5 abreast. It'll be slipstreams everywhere. It's going to be absolutely manic. And I think it could be the race of the season next weekend.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to find the tallest possible gear ratios to put inside the Hewland LD200 gearbox on the Ray Racing FF1600, and we're going to rev them to the top until they get valve float at about 6,900 RPM to wring the neck at Monza. That's next Tuesday right here on Race Stars TV. If you want to find out more information about how you can get involved, because the Formula Ford Championship, the Australian Formula Ford Championship, is open every week, so you can join in and try and pre-qualify. Get online, find out all the information you can. Go on Facebook and search Formula Racing Group or FRG, and from there you can get involved on the Discord channel. Or if you want to find out more about these series, you can get in touch and find us with Motorsports Australia or FRG, and of course with Race Stars TV and Racecraft Simulations. So looking forward to it, Dave. I'll see you next week.
Shall do, Chris. Can't wait.